All right. What's going on, party people? This your man Griff. So first of all, I want to say thanks for tuning in. Thank you for hitting the like button, sharing, and commenting. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll get notified whenever I come on and do either a live or put new content out. So today, as always, I'm out here doing trying to be as busy as I can, and I actually had a loan application today. It didn't get done. The gentleman didn't sign it. And I'm going to talk to y'all about why, because this is something that you need to be aware of. And it can be a little frustrating to you as a notary that's been in for a while or just a new notary because you spent this time, you went out here, and then the person doesn't sign the documents. But I want to share with you some reasons why a loan application might not get completed. And just for your own general knowledge, is nothing pretty much you can do. We're not in a position to make it happen. We're just there to collect data, get them to sign this loan application, and send it on back. So, um, and the gentleman had a little bit of issues with all three of these areas I'm going to talk about tonight. So, just to help set the stage, with the mortgage industry, no one can buy a house without first applying for a mortgage. Okay. They have to apply to get qualified to see if they're credit worthy, and then they will be given X amount of dollars that they can use toward buying a house. Just the same as a person who wants to refinance a house or get a home equity line of credit or do a reverse mortgage, which all of those pretty much falls under the category of refinancing. You're redoing the loan or the current loan that you have, and you still have to apply. If you do not fit the necessary criteria for credit worthiness based off of that bank and any other factors they have, the individual will not be able to get a loan, would not be able to refinance, would not be able to HELOC or reverse mortgage or any of that. So, how does that affect us? Well, if we're doing closings, that means if no one can apply for a loan, then guess what? There won't be too many closings out here. If the person can't apply for, doesn't apply for a loan or is not able to qualify for a loan, that's what I meant, not doesn't apply for, but doesn't qualify for a loan, well, guess what? The person who's trying to sell a home can't sell it because the person who wants to buy it or is at least interested somehow in buying it, they may not necessarily want it yet, but they're just somewhat interested. Well, they can't even get to the chopping block to say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do this, unless they what actually apply and then find out whether they're credit worthy. So without that being done, then there's nothing for us. We do not have any kind of business within the mortgage industry if the person can't qualify for a loan. Okay. All right. So there's three documents that that's in the loan application, or this, yeah, the whole loan application packet. It's not the loan application itself that will possibly give you some problems or really give them problems in changing their mind about applying for the loan. Okay. So the first one is a document that has a variety of information on it, and pretty much this is the information it has. The contents of the document, the information that surrounds this, I deleted that. That doesn't matter. A lot of times, it's like a welcome letter that says, "Hey, we're pre-qualified to apply for such and such loan or whatever," and all of that. So I highlighted, every other just to make it easy for the eyes to see, but this is the information that they're going to want. So as a notary, you're going to go there and collect this information. You're going to collect it by either using, if you want, carry a scanner in there, and do it, or you could just use the Adobe Scan app or Can Scam that is on your phone. And they want a copy of the driver's license, copy of the most recent mortgage statement, copy of their current homeowners insurance. If they're military, they want their DD 214. They want income statements and W 2s or 1099s if they're in business, 30 days worth of pay stubs. And then the vesting verification disclosure, I believe that would have something to do with retirement accounts if they're fully vested into a particular retirement account or whatever the case may be. The next form is what is called a credit card authorization form. Now, this is a huge deal for some because a couple of things can happen. Let me come back to y'all real quick. A couple of things can take place with regards to this that can make the signer, the person who wants to apply for a loan, say, "No, I'm not feeling this." First of all, they have to, they have to get an appraisal. The appraisal is going to cost probably between $600 and $800, maybe less, maybe more. But I've seen recently between $600 and $800. Well, sometimes the loan officer will say, "Oh, we're going to waive that, and you don't have to pay an appraisal." Now they don't tell me this, and they have told that individual that. So I go there looking to get them to sign this form and put in their credit card information. Okay, to put in their credit card information, as you see here. Well, if they've been told they don't have to pay the appraisal, then they're not going to want to do this. Well, you need to make sure that that is the case, because if you send this back blank, not signed, the signing company more than likely is going to have something to say. Or the processor who receives this document, when you scan it back and upload it, is going to have something to say, because they may not have been told by the loan officer that Mr. and Mrs. Jones is not going to pay for their appraisal, is going to be waived. Now, the real concerning part could be, as you see right here, it says the borrower understands that this appraisal fee is non-refundable. So now the question is, how are they refunding something that is non-refundable? What they've been saying is that they're going to put a credit card authorization hold on the credit card for the appraisal. And then once they get to closing, you'll get that money back. How true that is, I don't know. But that's what the deal is. And then it down here says, I agree to pay the non-refundable appraisal fee listed above and authorize the lender to charge that amount against my credit card. So this is something they have to read and understand. And then they'll print their name, sign it after they fill out the necessary credit card information for that appraisal. This can be a problem because they was told one thing, now they being asked to do another, and they may not want to fill out this credit card authorization form because they don't know us, and we'll have their credit card information. Now, sometimes they've already given them the card number over the phone, but they still have to at least sign this in order for it to be quote unquote official that they authorize them to do it. And that's primarily what this is. As it says here, credit card authorization. Without the credit card authorization form being signed, there's a possibility that um I guess they can do a chargeback or dispute it or whatever the case may be. So the last one, which overall is the most important, is the loan estimate. Okay, not the closing disclosure, but the loan estimate has all the information about particulars about them, their name, date issued, all of that, property value, or at least estimated property value, terms of the loan, um, that it's a refinance, fixed rate, VA. Now, this rate lock, the rate lock can throw a lot of people off because right now they don't lock in the rate, even though they tell them the rate is locked, but they don't officially lock it until this application gets signed. Every document in the application gets signed and sent back to them. So they have to tell them up front, your rate is not locked. Okay. But it is, but it isn't. So I don't get into that. I'm just sharing with you what I heard the loan officer or multiple loan officers tell this potential signee or the person that's getting this loan. So as you see, the loan amount, interest rate, principal and interest payment, escrow, potential, and what their estimated monthly total is going to be, that the fact that their property taxes and insurance is being collected by escrow. Then down here is where it gets funky. This is where the problem is going to be at, because when they see this number, 30,087, they're like, why am I paying that much to redo this loan? Because, and let me come back to y'all for a second here. One of the things that I found out many, many years ago is that a lot of people don't realize that when they reapply for a loan for a loan application, they are actually paying closing costs again, all over again, like it's a brand new loan. And technically, it is a brand new loan. So they're doing that. And they have, and some people have problems with that. They're like, whoa, I didn't expect it. Yes, it costs to get a new loan. And a lot of people don't want to pay that fee, whether they're young folk or older folk. Now, from what I've been seeing, the loan officer doesn't necessarily share the full details about that with them. They tell them a few things, but they don't tell them the whole thing. And I sort of understand why, because you're gonna have to pay this no matter what. So if you don't pay it with me, you're gonna have to pay it with the next guy or the next lady or whoever. This is a part of the cost. And see, this is where it's like, you're an adult, you should know that this is the cost of doing mortgages. That anytime you're refinancing a mortgage, you got to pay closing costs. That's a part of it. Now, there's closing costs is added there. However, whether or not you can either pay the closing costs out of pocket, meaning the $30,000 and $30,087, or it gets rolled into the loan. And the reason why this becomes a problem is because with most people, the way they're looking at this is the way they're looking at this is that's being added on top, because the original loan amount that this gentleman had that was left paying was like 240 some thousand. So it goes from 240 something all the way to 304. He's saying that's like a 60 some thousand-dollar increase. He's like, I'm not really feeling that. And it's like, well, why did it go up that much? Because of this right here. You say, but Griff, 30,000 added to 40 some thousand is not 304. Correct. But when you take into account the amount of equity that he's pulling out to pay off debt and to have this $6,571 in pocket, it comes out to that amount. So when they add in the money that he's getting as money coming out to pay off all of his debt, and then this, it comes out to that. That's basically what it is. And if the person hasn't been informed of all of the ancillary fees, I guess that's the right word to call it, that could be a problem. It could be a huge problem because they're like, I gotta go back to almost, in this his case, he bought the house for 300 or some thousand, and now he's getting close to that again. So in other words, all the effort that he went into paying it down from 300, I think he said 340, down to that, he's like, okay, that gets wiped away because I gotta pay all these closing costs. And he wasn't aware of it. Now, on the second page is the breakdown of the closing costs. Okay. The breakdown, and this here is where the biggest issue is, the points. You saw that he's getting a 5.99. The reason why is because he's paying $6,521 to get points. In other words, to get the loan dropped down to that amount or to that interest rate, which saves some money and keeps his mortgage payment less. But that, along with the origination fee, is $10,011. He was like, I wasn't aware of that. Then the things that you can shop for, this is where that appraisal fee comes in, that is listed here, and that is initially a part of the closing cost, but they're saying it will be taken off later. Then the big one is this VA funding fee. That is a fee that veterans will have to pay, which is money that goes to helping first time home buyers who are veterans also. Now, if you are at least 10% disabled, you will, this here funding fee will be waived. So that's a plus. But in this case, this gentleman is not, he hasn't filed a disability claim, and apparently he can get disability, but he hasn't done it. So therefore, he's going to have to pay this here fee out. And then it goes into stuff that they can shop for versus stuff that they cannot shop for. Um Then all of these recording fees and prepaids and what they're doing to get his escrow built up. And then here's all your total charges and everything together is at 37 and 80 $30,087. Okay. This here is his loan amount with the payoffs. So the loan amount with the payouts, which would be, so let's go 268,077 plus the 30,087, and then I think plus the 650 and that. There you go. That's how you come up with that number right there. That's how you come up with that number right there. And when he saw that, the gentleman was like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I got to pay $30,000. Move myself over to the other side. I don't like that. I got to pay $30,000 to get money out and all these. Like, that's a lot of money. And then pushing my loan amount to almost what it was originally at. That's not making that gentleman feel too happy. So this is where the issues are at. And there's nothing we can do about that. All right, let me come back. There's really nothing we can do about that. Is just get the loan officer on the phone, have them to have a conversation, and that person will decide whether they want to do it or not. The loan officer is always going to encourage them to go ahead and sign the paperwork so they can get started and work the real numbers because all of these are primarily estimates. Other than that, our job with this is very, very easy. All we got to do is just sit there and just chill, get them to sign the doc. Well, not even like get them, but they'll sign the documents. Then we take it on home and scan it, upload it. And a lot of them now just been scanned and upload. They don't even want you to mail that back the original documents. So that's where it's at. So in the comment section, please hit me up with your questions and your thoughts on this. I really want to hear what you got to say. But that's it. And as far as the rest of the documents, it's really nothing for you to it's nothing for you to be concerned about. It's just disclosures, them just signing off saying, I understand this, I understand that, I've read this, I've read that. There's nothing to notarize for us as notaries. There's nothing for us to read and interpret and try to explain. We just stay away from all of that and get the loan officer on the phone. And if you do very well, and if you communicate properly to the loan officer, that can open the door up for them saying, I want this person, you, to go ahead on and do the closing also. That's what I'm looking at. So stay in your lane. Don't get too wild with this. Yes, you're not notarizing, which he said, well, I ain't notarizing. I can talk about the documents. That's not our role. Let the loan officer have that, and you do your part, and then you keep it going. So let me hear what you. I want to read what you think. I'm excited about this year. We're going to have a great time, but remember, it all starts with the loan application. If nobody's applying, then that makes it hard for us to do what we do. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.